Coming up on Eagle Vision News, will Uber change its screening process after one of the drivers shot 6 people?
And the latest on presidential candidates in politics.
Plus, we'll tell you about Kesha's lawsuit and the supporters behind her accusations. All this and more coming up on Eagle Vision News.
Hello and welcome to Eagle Vision News. I'm Brianna Jordan.
I'm Josh Clausen.
And I'm Elise Kelly. Our top story this morning: on Monday, the Uber driver that was suspected in a shooting rampage in Michigan admitted that he shot and killed 6 people. Reporter Enlis Anderson joins us in the newsroom. Enlis, after hearing this, I would hope that Uber would change its screening process for the drivers. Do they have plans to make any changes?
Actually, the current screening process will stay the same. Uber will stick with the basic 2-step process of collecting driver information, which includes the driver's full name, date of birth, social security number, driver's license number, and vehicle and insurance registration. Once the information is collected, potential Uber drivers will go through a third-party screening called Checker. This is a National Associated background screener. Checker runs the applicant's basic information and checks for criminal records. One thing that will disqualify a potential driver is that they are on the National Sex Offender Registry, any database that flags terrorism, and any criminal driving incidents. This may seem effective, but Checker only dates back to information within the past 7 years. This means that any crimes committed prior to 2009 will not appear on the Uber background check.
Thanks, Enlis. And a driver and his Bible were the only survivors after a car caught fire in Memphis, Tennessee on Monday morning. After being sideswiped on the 385 highway, a Jeep swerved off the road and hit a pole, instantly causing it to burst into flames. Drivers stopped and tried to help the man out of his car as they waited for firefighters to arrive. Moments later, an officer rescued the man out of his car. The fire continued to destroy the Jeep until firefighters put out the flames. The driver was taken to the nearest hospital in non-critical condition. But firefighters were even more shocked after finding an untouched Bible on the passenger seat among the ashes. The Bible and the driver were the only survivors, and witnesses described this as seeing God on the 385. In this month alone, 3 hikers have fallen to their deaths at Mount Baldy. A 45-year-old man was hiking on Devil's Backbone Sunday when he slipped and fell 1,000 feet to his death. San Bernardino Sheriff's flight crew found his body and he was taken to Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. The day before, there were 12 emergency helicopter rescues in the same area. Earlier this month, Tony Leu was pronounced dead at the scene when hiking with his wife in the Ice House Saddle area. His wife suffered from major injuries to her leg and hip. And just a few days before that, 23-year-old Daniel Nin fell 1,500 feet to his death on the Devil's Backbone Trail while trying to rescue one of his friends. The trail is currently closed because of the icy conditions.
Peter Rothermel is here to tell us what is happening in politics and give us the latest on the presidential candidates.
Thanks, Josh. It has been a very busy week in the world of politics. Donald Trump won the South Carolina Republican primary with a commanding 10-point lead. Trump maintained his position as the Republican frontrunner after his win on Saturday. The battle of the day was for second place between Senators Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. In a very close race, Rubio bested Cruz to take second by just 0.2 of a point. With the momentum coming out of South Carolina, both Cruz and Rubio look to overtake the Trump juggernaut on Super Tuesday, which takes place on March 1st. Jeb Bush suspends his presidential bid after poor support in South Carolina.
I firmly believe the American people must entrust this office to someone who understands that whoever holds it is a servant, not the master. Someone who will commit to that service with honor and decency.
Bush has faced a rocky campaign since the announcement of his candidacy in June. He started as the presumed frontrunner, but fell quickly in the polls as candidates like Donald Trump and Ben Carson gained momentum. With low support nationally and low voter turnout in favor of Bush in the first 3 elections, Bush decided to drop out of the race. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia's funeral was held Saturday in Washington, D.C. The funeral took place at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception and focused on the justice's faith and service. The service was officiated by his son, Reverend Paul Scalia. Justice Scalia, who died on February 13th, served on the Supreme Court for 40 years. He was appointed by President Ronald Reagan in 1986. President Barack Obama was not in attendance at the funeral.
And last week we had student government elections here at Biola, and we would like to congratulate Jess Snow and Sam Jackson on their win. Thanks, Peter.
You're welcome.
Taylor Swift puts money behind Kesha during her trying time. After claiming she was raped by Dr. Luke Gottwald and losing her court case, several singers have rallied their support for Kesha with public statements and donations. The court ruled that Kesha is legally obligated to make 6 more records with Sony, despite accusations that her producer raped her. Sony has agreed to let Kesha work with another producer, but the pop artist feels her albums will be poorly marketed if she is not able to work with someone as high profile as Dr. Gottwald. Several singers have come to Kesha's support, some of which include Lady Gaga, Lily Allen, and Kelly Clarkson. The latest singer to rally behind Kesha is Taylor Swift, donating $250,000, showing her full support for the hashtag #FreeKesha movement. New internet privacy law makes it difficult for Canadians to be on Jeopardy! According to the Toronto Star, Canada's new privacy law is causing the powers that be over at Jeopardy! To bar any online applications from Canada. Jeopardy! Explained on their website, "At this time, we are precluded from accepting registration information from Canadian residents. We are currently evaluating the matter." Jeopardy! Is currently working on a system that complies with the Canadian government to make it possible for Canadians to once again be on the show.
So Josh, do you watch Jeopardy! At all?
I don't actually.
Okay, do you know who Vanna White is?
I've heard the name.
Okay, so I read a fun fact the other day that she has worn almost 6,000 different dresses in her career.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how long she's been doing it, but like, I don't know, 20 years or something? A
Wow,
while.
that is a lot of dresses.
Yeah,
And lots
so-
of money.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind playing dress up all day long. I think that'd be pretty fun.
I used to do that as a kid, but I mean, like, I kind of grew out of that.
I mean, it
Never wore a
happens.
dress, though.
That's
but I
good.
did watch Mrs. Doubtfire.
That's a good movie.
Great movie. Well, this morning we have Sports on Sports. Breton Thune is here to give us the latest on one of LA's favorite athletes.
That's right, Josh. Thank you. Topping our sports news tonight is Kobe Bryant's final trip to Chicago, where he and the Lakers hope to snap a 4-game losing streak against the Bulls. It was an emotional night on Sunday as Kobe Bryant stepped onto the court at the United Center for the last time in his storied career. And while the Lakers dropped the competition, Bryant was able to put up 22 points in 27 minutes of play. The Bulls honored Kobe with a tribute video where Derrick Rose called Bryant the Michael Jordan of his generation. The Lakers look to break their losing streak as they face off against the Bucks next. And on the other end of the spectrum, we turn to California's favorite sport, hockey, where the Anaheim Ducks have extended their winning streak to 5. The Ducks topped off the Calgary Flames 5-2 on a Sunday night. After a slow start to the season, the Ducks have improved to become second in the Pacific Division, posting the best record in the NHL since the Christmas break. Winning 8 of their last 10 games, the Ducks moved past the San Jose Sharks and now sit 2 points behind their division rivals, the LA Kings. It looks like both teams will be making the playoffs, where they hope to repeat the same success that they've had in the past. And for those players that won't be making the playoffs and getting on the golf courses a little early this year, they have someone to model their game after in Bubba Watson. The 37-year-old golfer won the Northern Trust Open this weekend. Hollywood hosted the tournament that saw Watson rally back to win the Open. Down 2 shots with 4 holes left, he managed a pair of birdies in the last 3 holes to move into first place. Bubba was extremely pleased with his victory, stating, "When you come to Hollywood, there's a lot of things you can do. It's fun, and winning is the cake." This marked Watson's 9th win in his PGA Tour.
Thanks for the sports update, Breton. And now Brianna Jordan joins us in the studio for the second episode of Too Much Internet.
Thanks, guys. You often hear that there are 2 types of people in the world, but every time you hear that, it adds on to the 2 types of people in the world list. Nowadays, there really are 2 types of people. The first being the ones who order things off of apps, and the second being those who provide those services. And we can really thank Uber for setting that standard. What I mean is that there's more to delivery than just pizza. Let me show you what I mean. I woke up like this, we flawless. Ugh, my head. Why not take it to the olden days, like when the doctors used to come to your home? There's Heal, an app for requesting an on-demand doctor in just under 60 minutes to your home. And if you really don't feel like making yourself somewhat presentable, there's Doctor on Demand, where you can video chat with a licensed doctor. And if your pet doesn't seem to be feeling well either, there's Vet Pronto. Nothing in the fridge? Why not have Postmates, Grubhub, or DoorDash deliver pretty much anything you want? Sometimes looking through options takes too long, but when you know what you want, there's apps like Push for Pizza. And if you don't feel like pizza, there's Bento, Asian food delivery. Only in San Francisco. Dang it, pizza it is.
Hello.
Today's your mom's birthday!
Ah! Bloom that to the rescue!
Hello.
Your pizza's here. And so are your flowers. Thanks. Now I have to go get ready. It's funny how there's an app for pretty much anything. Soon enough, there's going to be an app for something like requesting an ice refill. I need more ice. Now I need somebody to share it with. Hey.
Hi.
These are some of the many apps that are like Ubers for something. This all adds to the old saying, there's an app for that.
Brianna?
Yes. This has been Too Much Internet. I'm Brianna Jordan. See you next time. That's it for this week. Do not hesitate to reach us on our social media at BiolaEV to tell us what your favorite Uber for something app is. Next week, I'll be talking about what exactly is going on with Kanye West and some of the current buzz happening on the internet right now. Back to you, Josh and Elise.
Thanks, Brianna. Now reporter Kiara Bernal has the weather forecast for us this week. Kiara, please tell me we will be seeing some rain this week.
Sorry, Josh. Unfortunately, there is no rain in our forecast coming up. But if you take a look behind me, this is El Matador Beach located in Malibu, California. And from what I've heard, it's a great hiking spot. A lot of people like to go hiking up here and make their way down to the beach. And at the end of the hike, they are treated with this beautiful view of the ocean. And like I said, they go down to the beach, like to take a nice walk, put their toes in the sand, just like this couple we can see here. So moving on to our currents. So in today's weather in La Mirada, this morning it was 53 degrees, and later on in the afternoon, we can see it moving on up to 81 degrees and then dropping back down to 55 degrees later in the evening. So moving on to our current temperatures. All right, so in the West Coast along the Pacific Ocean, we can see beautiful weather, and also in the South of it being in the 60s and in the 70s. Unlike the rest of the country where we can see it, a lot of blue and light blue areas of it being in the 30s and the 40s. So super cold, and especially cold for our friends up in Maine with them sitting at home with it being 18 degrees. So pretty cold weather, but for us in the West Coast, let's see if our 7-day forecast holds true with the beautiful weather. All right, so Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we can see temperatures being sunny, warm, and dry, with it being in the low 80s and dropping down in the evening to the mid 50s. So some beautiful weather we'll be having. And as we can see on Saturday and Sunday, temperatures will drop down to the 70s, and Saturday being 74 degrees with AM clouds in the morning. But on Sunday, it is Oscars Sunday, everyone, so we can expect to see our celebrities walk down the red carpet in some beautiful outfits with some great weather. And again, moving on to the week, we can see Mondays is the weather's going to continue being 77 degrees and continuing being high on Tuesday with it being 84 degrees. So some great weather we're going to be having this upcoming week. And there you have it for your 7-day forecast. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kiara. Bummer, no rain.
Well, that's all we have for you this morning, but be sure to join us next week to hear about the groundbreaking event for Biola's new science building.
And we'll give you the latest happening in entertainment.
Keep up with us during the week. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BiolaEV, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to see previous shows.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.